Hey, what's up everybody? Neil here. It is July 22nd, 2017, and we're a few days into recording our new album. The last month has been a total whirlwind for 3 Days Grace. We've been all over Eastern Europe, Russia, Belarus, Bulgaria, Romania. We were sitting backstage at the festival in Ohio we played last week, and we're like, okay boys, we need to switch from world tour mode to studio mode. How are we gonna do that? Like, what are we gonna do for gear and for like what's the plan? And we were just like, why don't we get the tractor trailer that's got all the gear that we've been playing on for the last while and just park it at the studio. The drums from stage are basically the drums that I'm playing on in the studio right now. They sound amazing, and it's like it's a comfort zone.
Let me drop you in right there at the end.
On the list.
Put it right here. Right.
Jeez, holy.
Right here.
You're not. We break it, then we play it, then we fix it and listen to it, then we play it one more time, and that's what you hear.
That almost sounds like 1X bass tone. Off
P
that.
bass. It's almost the same. Pretty good.
Nice.
It's gonna
That's
work.
good.
It's gonna work.
A few microphones. Setting up the live rig, Mike. Get that incorporated for the big rock.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Today is the anniversary of the first record, 14 years, July 22nd. So pretty cool to be back with Gavin Brown, recording again with him. And, obviously he did the first record, Mike Plotnikoff, big part of 1X. So it's pretty awesome to have all these guys, back in our lives and making great music again.
Sweet potatoes tonight is because it's a root vegetable.
That's right.
And she knew the bass was being played.
Oh, yeah.
So you play the root notes.
Less is more, Gav. Less is more, bud.
You know my uncle Lester?
Yeah.
Lester Ismore?
Okay. Oh, that fucking hurts. I need some
Lester
work
is
done.
more.
I might be able to help you out.
Yeah? Lester is more.
Alright, hello everybody, A for Awesome here. This is like really random. I'm recording the intro for this video almost, I think I recorded the entire, I did this review and I did the Flawed Design Saint Sony review, like recorded them back to back, but I made a really glaring error in the intro to Outsider, where I call it human and I didn't want to get confused in the editing process. So, here we are. But anyway, it actually, I'm going to make this intro a lot better because the other one was me kind of being an idiot and stumbling and kind of just acting stupid. I recorded it February 6th. Here it is literally 13 days later, February 19th, and I'm finally getting a better intro going. But it's actually my sister's birthday, so happy birthday. And I'm intending to upload this and upload Flawed Design this today and Flawed Design tomorrow. And it's weird. I think I've got a long work night ahead of me because I kind of like entirely forgot that this was on my schedule. I've been a very busy person for a while now. So the intention is going to be to edit those back to back, work on some side things that I intended to do. I've got like a lot of stuff that I need to put together, so who knows how long that will take. So I apologize for the slow uptick on content in the last like weeks, but I promise that eventually things will be a bit more normal before they probably get weird again with how my life always goes. But anyway, I hope that you enjoy the Outsider review. Thank you for tuning in. I don't care. Once the tour for their 2015 album Human concluded, the band decided to take time off to work on the next album in as much isolation as possible, according to drummer Neil Sanderson. The band began recording their 6th studio album in July 2017. The album was produced by 2 of the band's prior producers, Gavin Brown and Howard Benson, but also by members of the band themselves.
Hey guys, Matt and Neil here. We just wanted to say thank you for all the support on our new single, The Mountain. In 2 short weeks, we've got to 3 million plays on YouTube. Radio's been playing the hell out of it, and we couldn't be happier.
Yeah, it's awesome to have amazing fans and so much support all over the world, and we wouldn't be here without you, so thank you for that.
And we want to say thanks to UFC Gym, UFC, Misha Serkinov, and all the skateboarders and all the basketball players that were in the video. It turned out great, and without you, we couldn't have done it. So thank you to you guys, and thanks to our fans.
Thank you.
The 6th album, titled Outsider, was announced on January 25th, 2018, and released the lead single, The Mountain, with a music video the same day. The song peaked at number 1 on the Billboard Mainstream Rock chart in March 2018 and became their 13th number 1 on the chart, tying the record with Van Halen.
Hey, what's up everybody? It is July 31st, and Barry's just doing guitars and I'm about to start vocals. Just had a good weekend off and back to work. So when we were in Moscow, we just did a Eastern Europe tour. We decided to film and record 2 songs of our set, opening for System of a Down in Moscow. It was a stadium, so right now they're just editing. They're just finishing editing it. It's just being finished, so we hope to get that out to you soon. It's gonna be really cool. It was a great crowd, great show, and it's gonna be Riot and Machine, so check it out.
All right, bud. What do you guys want? What the heck do you guys want? You want inside? Inside the lab? Welcome to the lab. This is my doctor friend, Dr. Mike Plotnikov. This is where we concoct.
We create, we make, we build.
We have a talented individual here in short pants.
That's like,
Yeah.
that sounds great.
That's his thing with my thing. Together we make a unique new unicorn of sound.
Okay, so let's
That
try
makes
another
sense.
mic now. So
Yeah.
we know what that sounds like. Let's try the 251.
That sounds like a record to me. So.
Yeah.
That
sounds
fucking
great.
Somebody!
Yeah, no comparison. I love it. There's no S's on the vocals at all. There's nothing like, there's no... It's just this...
Yeah.
Oh yeah, nice.
We got this.
Voice sounds great.
Yeah.
Thanks,
You're a
man.
good singer, bud.
Sounds
Too bad
good.
you're a dick.
That sounds good. I think that's gonna be the winner.
Yeah, that's good.
That sounds like a record. Yeah.
That's the mic I'm not gonna use.
That's the mic you're gonna use.
This is the mic I'm gonna use.
That one is the one he was gonna use.
But I'm not using it today.
This is the mic he's gonna use today.
Mic I'm gonna use today.
This is the mic he's using today.
This is the mic that I'm using today.
The album was officially released on March 9th, 2018. On June 12th, Infrared was released as the band's 2nd single from the album. Infrared peaked at number 1 on the Billboard Mainstream Rock Songs chart, and it is their 14th number 1 single, allowing them to break the record held by Van Halen. With this latest achievement, they broke the record by Van Halen. On November 13th, 2018, Right Left Wrong was released as the band's 3rd single from the album. Peaked at number 1 on the Billboard Mainstream Rock charts, and it is their 15th number 1 single. A lot of these. In support of the album's release, the group embarked on the Outsider Tour in 2018 across Europe and North America. The group also toured with Avenged Sevenfold and Prophets of Rage on the End of the World Tour. On March 14th, 2019, the band won Rock Artist of the Year at the 2019 iHeart Music Radio Awards. Now, just a side story, rant, whatever, because we're getting into kind of right before we get into the tracks, it wasn't too long after this album released when I actually got to meet the band. I met them on October 15th, 2019. So, you know, roughly a year after. Very shortly before the COVID closures and such. But it was actually, so that was my 14th birthday. So I just turned 14, and at the time I had half my head shaved, and I had like, you know, the emo kind of cut. So I actually had went to, I can't remember where it was. I think, I'm not going to get into cities or anything because I don't really like to do that. But anyway, I went to an event and they were there. Like, it wasn't even a concert. They were just there. And so I ended up chatting with Neil and with Matt. The other two were kind of doing their own thing, but I was talking to those two. Neil wished me a happy birthday because he saw I had... I was with... I'd just gotten my nose piercing, which I don't have anymore. And I said it was a birthday gift, and I just got it today. So he's like, oh, happy birthday. And Matt was basically telling me about, you know, their plans for hopefully doing another album in, I think they were saying 2022 or 2020. Yeah, what was it? It was supposed to be 2021 was what they were, because they're like, yeah, we try to do them every 3 years because it kind of fits the theme and like, etc. And that they'd been kind of working on some ideas, but there wasn't a lot. And then obviously that got delayed to 2022 when Explosions came out. But yeah, they were saying that they were worried about things getting closed down and such, because like Barry lives in the US and etc., etc. So like they wouldn't be able to come together very often, and they weren't sure how they'd be able to make an album work, but they still really wanted to keep their release schedule, is what they told me. But it didn't really work out. Obviously they ended up taking the longest break they've ever taken between albums, which was unfortunate, and I think Explosions did end up kind of getting affected by that in the end. But that's not here nor there. So, but obviously lots of bands and lots of albums and such kind of got that effect, as we'll see in the Flawed Design review and such. So, but yeah, I just really wanted to talk about that. I know they also eventually did a Q&A video, and I'm in it, but I'm not physically there. But one of my questions was used, and they say my name, so I thought that was really interesting too. Maybe I'll link that in the description or something, because that's pretty cool. But yeah, just a neat little story that I thought I could tell. So, alright, on to the actual songs. So, track 1, Right, Left, Wrong, is a 10 out of 10 for me. This song, when it first released, I wasn't a huge fan, to be honest. I thought it was very edgy and kind of... And yes, admittedly, the lyrics are leaning into some cringe territory. Too edgy, but I think the mix of electronics and real instruments work together and give this song an almost spiritual or like ethereal feel, kind of continuing and evolving that sound from Human, which was about the struggle of the mundane, and this album continues a lot of those concepts and evolves that kind of story, I guess, further. That concept further. It really feels like a true sequel to Human in a way. And while obviously, in my opinion, I think they lean too heavy into the electronics on some of the songs on this album, and it almost gives it a pop rock sound, I still enjoy a decent amount of tracks from this album. And fun fact, this album is the only 3 Days Grace album to have more than one song that is labeled explicit. Track 2, The Mountain, another 10 out of 10. This is the song from Matt's era as lead singer that I hear talked about the most, to be honest. I know that, like, I have a friend named DJ. I've known him for, like, 8 years now. I've known him since, like, shortly before I met 3 Days Grace. And when we were talking about it, even just recently, he was talking about how Life Starts Now is his favorite, and mine is 1X, but, like, we both agreed that The Mountain is a pretty good song. For a lot of the newer fans of this band, like my brother, for example, this song was actually their introduction to the band, especially since it was playing on rock radio all the time. And yeah, not for me though. Mine was 1X. My mom used to have that on CD and would play that in the car all the time, and we would rock out. But this is definitely considered a fan favorite among newer fans, and I can understand why. It's catchy, it has a good groove, though in my opinion I think it leans too heavy into the electronics and not enough into the actual instruments, so it does get a bit of a, but I still enjoy it, but it is a little bit more of a poppy sound. Track 3, I'm an Outsider. I labeled this as a 9 out of 10, but I don't really know if that's how I feel. It's kind of been a song that's kind of fluctuated in my opinion on it, because I think I've listened to this album about 30 times in preparation for this review. It was the first album I would listen to on my trips. It's bad, but because I usually have to take pretty long bus trips, like almost every day, weekday, and this would always be the first thing I'd put on, and I would, hear different things or take different opinions into account or whatever. But anyway, this is another song that I think works really well, despite clearly sounding like a song written by men in their late 30s trying to relate to teenagers. The lyrics are legitimately terrible. I think it's the worst song lyrically by this band. But I think the instrumental kind of works, but I wouldn't say this is a 9 out of 10. I don't know why. I would say this is more like a 5 or a 6. But yeah. Infrared. This is a rare thing for me. This charted at number 1, but I labeled it as a 6 out of 10. I think the instrumental of this song tries to be heavy, however the lyrical subject matter is like a weird mix about a love song, and I just don't think the lyrics work very well. And to be quite honest, I can't get into this song no matter how hard I try. However, I do really enjoy the beginning guitars. Next track, Nothing to Lose But You, which I put as an 8 out of 10. I think this song has an amazing chorus, magnificent even, but the verses definitely could use some work as they don't really feel like a, 3 Days Grace likes to write songs that, people can relate to, and I don't really find the lyrics of this song relatable. Maybe some people do, but I don't. But the chorus is a great chorus, and it's catchy and it works well. Me Against You, I put this as a 4 out of 10. So the lowest ranked so far. This song stenches of edgy and cringe. The entire set of lyrics just screams a 14-year-old quiet kid and the things he writes in his notebook, doodling in class because he's getting bullied. I think this song aims to be something similar to Overrated, Riot, Broken Glass, Bully, the mosh pit anthems that they put on each album. However, I don't think there's enough heaviness in this song. I can't even remember any instruments. All I remember is the do, like the electronics, and I don't think that's how you make a mosh pit anthem, And to be quite honest, I think even the worst My Darkest Days album, or the worst songs by My Darkest Days, were heavier than this. So it just definitely feels like they lost some of their sound. Oh my goodness, sorry. I'm in a very dusty room right now. Love Me or Leave Me, I put this at a 2 out of 10. I think this is legitimately the song I have ranked the lowest out of the entire band's discography, but I might be wrong. This song is just a repetitive poppy tune that sounds less like 3 Days Grace and more like Ed Sheeran or Shawn Mendes. I can't really get into it. It's edgy, yet it lacks edge. How is that possible? Strange Days, 10 out of 10. I actually really enjoy this song, keeping in mind that this album came out shortly before I graduated middle school and the beginning of high school. So this song really felt like a relatable theme for me about going through the things that I had been stuck in, things that were going to be new, right? Like I could now fail classes. I don't know if any other countries do this, but for mine, you actually can't fail middle school. We don't even call it middle school. We just have one big school, and it goes from basically a daycare to end of middle school, and it's one big school. And then you go to high school, and the whiplash of being able to fail and be held back and be, it's a lot harder to cope with, and it's really lacking. So I actually struggled a lot in my first semester of grade 9 because I was gifted for my whole time in school. So it was very strange being, I was still gifted, but having to put a lot of extra work in seemingly out of nowhere really fucked with me for my first semester. And this song really helped with getting through that kind of depression. So, and then, you know, the worst part is the first semester ended, and I had mediocre grades. So I was getting in trouble because people were like, "You are literally a genius. What is the problem here?" And then second semester, COVID, and I ended up being at home. So this song kind of fueled me through quarantine and through all that confusion that was going on with me. And the music video is really good for it too, and I think this is the song I recommend the most to people out of this album, even if it isn't the heaviest. Villain I'm Not, another 10 out of 10. This song has soundtracked so many of my breakups that I even though it's kind of an edgy song, I can't even deny that even to this day, I love this song. There's one breakup that I'm not going to get into the details of. However, you know, this was blaring out of my room every chance I got throughout that. And no, I'm not leaving out the details out of respect for the other party, because fuck that shit. Fuck respecting people. I just don't want to get into it. Chasing the First Time. I put this as a 1 out of 10, so I liked this even less than Love Me or Leave Me. This song doesn't really hit for me. It feels a little too glorifying of drug use. You know, the entire song is, yes, the themes and subject matter are about drug addiction and escaping it, I guess, you know. The entire song talks about how, you know, being an addict, you're just trying to chase the first time that you got high, but at the end of the day, yeah, that'll never happen. But I think the formatting of the lyrics and the sound, it sounds less like something that, you know, 1X did similar themes, right? Like Over and Over wasn't a song about love, it was a song about addiction, but it did it in a way that didn't feel like it was, you know, glorifying it, I guess. And for me, this doesn't sound like something that 3 Days Grace should stand for. You know, the 3 Days Grace has always been about changing your life. That's what the name means. It's 3 days to say grace and you know, say your prayers and change your name, or change your life, and move things around. And, you know, each of their albums has kind of had a theme around that, you know. The self-titled was about getting away from, you know, your parents, is one of the big themes, you know, like abusive households. 1X is a lot about drug addiction. Life Starts Now is about breakups. Transit to Venus kind of had a similar thing as Life Starts Now, so that's kind of why that one kind of was a fall-off point. But like Human was the mundane, and this one has kind of been a mishmash of different things, but kind of following the same kind of thing. So this song really feels like something from My Darkest Days, not, you know, this. And I think the band really should have moved on from this sound and this theme after 1X, because they're not going to do it the same way that Adam did, and I just can't enjoy this song. The New Real. At the time of release, I wasn't... Oh, this is a 10 out of 10. At the time of release, I wasn't a massive fan of this song, though I did enjoy, you know, the gangster wannabe line from part of the chorus. You know, somebody special is a gangster wannabe. I liked that, mostly just because it reminded me of how many fucking, you know, kids are in high school are like, it's a white kid sagging his pants and talking like he's black, you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of why I liked that line, because it felt like they knew what they were talking about. However, over the years, and with nowadays with the current invasion of Canada from the Middle East, that they don't talk about on the news, by the way, they won't, because it's deemed racist. You know, the housing and the job crisis and just the general bullshit in Canada that really makes you want to join a group of people with special pointy hats sometimes. I relate to this song quite a bit, and having to deal with ignorance and selfishness and just the overall lack of empathy left in this fucked up world, and it pisses me off. And the last track on the album, The Abyss. I think this song is legitimately the best of the album, or at least the most well-made. And the scream that Matt does at the end of the song is fantastic. Something I've always told people who say they're not a fan of Matt, I tell them to check out the acoustic performances by My Darkest Days, because that's like his real singing voice, not the kind of bullshit raspy one he does in these albums. And I tell them to check out this song, and you know, because I really think he would do well in something like, you know, like a metalcore band. I think he would do really good in those kind of groups, because he does scream really well. And he has a good natural singing voice. So, but it just seems like, I don't know why he's never done that, personally.
3 Days Grace were nominated for 3 Juno Awards in 2019. Outsider for Album of the Year and Rock Album of the Year, and The Band for Group of the Year. They won the Rock Songwriters of the Year award for The Mountain in their 30th anniversary of the SOCAN Awards. So, that's kind of where we end on this chapter. The next review is Flawed Design by Saint Asonia, and I am literally ending this recording and then going right back and doing Saint Asonia. So, I hope that you all enjoyed. Hopefully, I don't imagine it would be too long before we get the Saint Asonia one posted, but who knows? Life's twisty and turny like that, but I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and hopefully we see you in the next one. I admit I'm not the biggest fan of Flawed Design as an album, but you'll hear all my in-depth opinions soon enough. So yeah, bye.